Welcome to a new spirit that will warm your heart. Welcome to a new spirit. Every day's a brand new start. Where encouraging words can heal your soul and dreams will be renewed. Welcome to a new spirit, a new spirit in you.
Ding dong! Hello! We are the Dark Forces. Is it 2 o'clock yet? Welcome to the New Spirit Radio Show by the Society of Novus Spiritus, founded by world-renowned spiritual teacher Sylvia Browne. I forgot to change my date, but it is April 26th of 2023. Coming to you live from California, both NorCal and SoCal are your hosts, Reverend Tom Bigley and MIT Catherine Taylor, soon to be Minister Catherine Taylor, playing audio segments we call Messages from Spirit. Why? Answering the ultimate question, why are we here and what is our purpose?
These segments are recorded trance sessions from Francine, Sylvia's spirit guide. So for new people, Sylvia was a full trance medium, which means Sylvia contracted to let her and Francine's essences exchange places in Sylvia's body. And we think of our bodies being similar to a car, where one driver gets out and another driver gets in. And this allowed Francine to share spiritual knowledge with us directly from the other side.
On occasion, another master teacher and healer, a guide named Raheim, would exchange with Sylvia and present us with spiritual information as well. Francine and Raheim shared directly from sources like the Akashic Records, Mother and Father God, our spirit guides, Christ, and many others.
And meanwhile, during trance, Sylvia would sit on a nice bench on a rose garden on the other side.
And here are our hosts, MIT Catherine Taylor and Reverend Tom Bigley.
Woo!
Howdy do. You got here, you're here, you're still here, and if you do the robot, then are you pretending or is it not pretending? I'm being facetious.
Don't know.
I'm joking because we were learning ahead of time that at where you're at, you're having some internet problems. So if you're doing this kind of thing, we know it's not you on purpose. So good.
Yeah, hopefully we'll have a
see.
smooth time. So
yeah, exactly. Let's see. So, quick agenda. Do I do agenda first? Yeah, I guess I do agenda first. So for those of you that are new, I'm gonna give you kind of a breakdown of what we're gonna do here this evening. And for everyone else that's not new, that's have been here before. Now's a good time to start writing in your comments about, how did you use Novus philosophy in the last week? For the new people, the agenda, we like to start out by sharing, how did you use Novus philosophy in the last week? Then I get into announcements. We do special prayers and a moment of silence. Then we get into the trance segments and what those are, how those help you. You can participate in the meditation that we provide. I'll talk about some closing notes, and then everybody is welcome to participate in the special prayers service we call the Novena. We move on to, we talk about appreciation, and then we conclude with a prayer by Sylvia.
Fabulous.
So that's our plans for this evening. And to start things off, that's loud. We like to light a candle, and you're welcome to do so wherever you are if it's appropriate. And sometimes we've had to use those little LED flicker things. Faux candles, I'm not sure what you want to call them. Let's see. So some quick... Yeah, I did write that wrong, didn't I? Oh, well, because I'm going to do announcements first. Let's see.
Okay.
Please do share, promote, like, subscribe, click on the bell. So that you're notified of the latest information about our show. And do appreciate that you donate when you can and as best you can. Big surprise next Wednesday is no show on May 3rd. I am going to be doing my civic duty. I guess you could call it that. I'm going to call it that. I'm going to our capital, Sacramento, for business, as it were. Gonna get to talk to people up there. So in Sacramento. So yeah, no show next Wednesday. Let's see. Oh, and for in 2 weeks from now, something to make you sit on your edge of your seat for. I found a new favorite famous phrase for next time. Let's see. Yeah, I've been listening and while I
Ooh,
edit,
that's
I
exciting.
wait for things to pop in. And I'm like, oh, hey, that sounds pretty good. So that'll be a fun, something fun to look forward to. Where did I put my buttons here? Oh my gosh. Sorry, my buttons moved. What?
It is A-OK.
There we go.
I
Okay.
love it when buttons move. Love it. It's my favorite.
So, let's jump into how did you use Novus Spiritus philosophy? Do you want to start? You want me to start? Do you want to rock, scissors, paper?
I would love to hear what you used of Novus philosophy over the last week.
Okay, so I have spoken about what my reading with Chris. I'm ad-libbing this because I didn't write it down. Yeah, my reading with Chris. Chris was saying, bottom line is get out of yourself. So that's one of the things I'm doing next Wednesday. Is he said go? He says you're a homebody. Get out and go to parties. Or and I'm like, okay, that's. I got to do something about it. So I've been attending a variety of meetings and shows and some other public things, not just watching media, but things to interact with other people. So I've been getting out. I was out today for a marketing meeting and a what do they call it? What do you call it when the marketing people pull people in and want to hear your opinion about things? There's a word for it.
Focus group?
Thank you. That's the word I was looking for, or phrase, or yeah. I attended one of those today. And so I've been selecting things to get out and go and do. Still, the goal is, when he says parties, well, okay. To me, that's like, yeah, getting out and socialize. So that's what I'm been working on.
Cool. This sounds like some really nice activating. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Okay, fantastic. Hopefully things have settled down now. So
yeah, looks good.
Okay, fabulous. So what I used of Novus philosophy over the last week, I had been projecting myself forward out of an illness. And using some of the various healing tools that we've been given, and I feel like that has been very, very helpful and effective for minimizing things. So we're always told, like, make sure you cook your eggs really, really well. And so we had ordered out to a new place, and it was really, really delicious Korean food, and there was a fried egg on top, and I bit into it, and I was like, this doesn't feel all the way cooked. And I looked at it, I was like, the top of the egg isn't cooked all the way through. I was like, all right. And I immediately was like, cancel this out, make sure that I don't, this doesn't turn into a thing. But I did get to feeling not as great as I would like to be feeling. And yeah, that's been it's been like 5 days of distress. So but I've been using the tools and using like green light and talking to my cells, talking to my body, and projecting myself forward in time. And tonight we're going to be listening to Francine in the third segment talk about using time and our concept of time in order to create more healing. And so she's going to end up talking about like black holes and how black holes operate, and like some interesting concepts there. I'm really, really, really excited to listen to. So anyway, if I seem a little bit subdued today, I am happy to be here. I am good enough to be here, and I wish that I did have a little bit more energy because I haven't eaten all week. So just coming out of illness. So anyway, I'm good.
So that's not the way to do a keto diet, is it?
No. No. Oh man, yeah. So, but I'm ecstatic to be here, and I'm so looking forward to ordination on Sunday. So
Yeah,
just
yeah,
absolutely thrilled.
for fun.
Mhm.
Anyway, well, that's another entertaining venue that for those that want to watch or participate, view it. Get yourself invited to the Sunday Zoom service. Anyway, that's a option
Yay!
for people.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's exciting. What else? Okay, so now it's does everybody that's in the watching the show want to do rock scissors paper at the same time?
Yeah, I think so. Everybody, let's do. Here we go. Right. I love it. Thank you for all the sweet comments that people are posting in chat. It's really, really lovely. What did you guys use of Novus philosophy, though? This is where I'm really excited to, I was excited to hear what you guys have, how your week has been. Like, the good, the bad, the ugly, and the really surprisingly awesome. All right, so Thomas shares, my vehicle broke down and I called AAA, and they said they would be there in 50 minutes. I prayed to Asna and got tow driver in 25 minutes. Very nice. Got that expedited. Fantastic. Aaron shares, use the silver light effect, and it really does work. Oh, I hope that whatever that emergency was, that it was settled very, very quickly. That's good. And pop over to Facebook. And it's nice to see you guys there. Anyway, I will. I'm having some difficulties with a few things here, so just give me a few minutes. We can move on, and then I'll get to more comments. Yeah.
Do you want me to grab? Oh, okay.
Yeah, if you can.
Yeah. Really? Because I can see. Okay, Tangela was saying I'm using the silver mask over my face. That's good. And
awesome.
Who else is on? Julianne is saying, I'm wondering what you're humming about. Let's see. What else have we got? Okay, a lot of welcomes. And okay, Facebook is okay. They're waiting to put things in, so not a problem. All right. How to get to Zoom? I think you got to put your. Tangelo's asking how to.
Oh.
Okay, that message just went off the page because people are posting. The best of my understanding is look on the website. Put your email on the website, and we'll see about getting a message out for the Sunday service. Cheryl was saying, I'm sorry, just came in. What is this silver mask? Not Dilver mask is what was written. Silver mask.
They wanted a pink mask.
That's right, pink mask.
Raheim,
Thank you.
Raheim.
But listen to a couple. What is it? Last show or a couple shows back? They're talking about some of the, visualizing a mask on your face for general protection.
A mask. Mm-hmm.
Just visualizing and picturing it in your mind.
For both emotional and actual air protection. So.
Yeah. Cool. All right. Where are we? Man, I feel lost here at the moment. Okay, now I found myself. Okay, now it's the time for special prayers for those of you that have a need or know of a need, or you've posted something in chat, or you've wanted to post something on the prayer chain on the Novus website. This is our time, one of the times that all of us are praying in some form or other, because I know there are other people that do pray, at other times for this same thing that we're asking for. So we'll take a moment and we're going to visualize what the outcome is that you're asking for. And we're going to ask for the hosts of heaven, as it were, Mother God, the archetypes, archangels, and our guides to get involved in what we are asking for help for. So let's take a moment of silence and ask for that help. Amen.
Amen.
And of course, if you want to make it public, post it on one of our comments somewhere, whether it's here, YouTube, Facebook, or the website. If you want to do something that sounds a little more private to you, go to the website and look for the bird chain and post in there.
Wonderful.
And again, be the prayer. If you see a need, fill it. Let's see. There are, you know what? We have, for those of you that are streaming challenged, we do have a conference call that you can call in while we're live on Wednesdays that you can listen in if for some reason that's all you've got is a phone that you can listen to our conversation. That number is 888-534-2696. And of course, I appreciate that you stay muted so that everybody has a wonderful session and gets to hear.
Fantastic.
What else we are? Cool. All right.
I have a few comments to share of what folks used of Novus philosophy. Gibson says that, it has been helping with allergies with regards to using the mask, like visualizing the mask on their face. It's nice silver or surgical mask there. And to clarify, Raheim did say that for the most part, you want to default to using like visualizing a mask of pink light because it's loving. And but today he's going to talk about using purple sometimes as well. So that'll be really cool to listen to. Miss LJ shares, my Novus Spiritus philosophy for this week was being able to grab the hand of my future self. She's absolutely stunning. I prayed for security and protection as I meditated through the veil. That is fabulous. Lovely. There's one more that I saw. And Ramona shares, I've been trying to pray on the Trinity hours each day and I recognize it more often. Yeah, I've been doing that, trying to be more mindful of that to kind of train my brain to start thinking differently. I usually like, this is funny because today's episode feels like it's the episode for me. I'm like, my time has come because Francine is going to be talking about time and trying to remove yourself from time and trying not to be time bound and whatnot. So I don't have a whole lot of clocks around my house. So I've been trying to train my brain. If I see the clock that is coming around a Trinity hour, to take a moment, say some prayers, and try to make that more of a opportunity, a positive opportunity to join with. So.
Cool. All right. Any more comments, or do we want to jump into our segments?
I think that's it for comments for the moment, but we look forward to hearing more of your thoughts as always. So we're going to hear the last two. So the next two segments are going to be Raheim wrapping up a potpourri trance. So he's going to talk about the etheric mask on mean people is purple. Dark forces come on the second hour, so 2 p.m., 4 p.m. Contacting the deceased. The stones Malachite and Emerald have healing properties for the eyes. And we all feel like we should have said more to people who've passed away. It's very human.
Mm-hmm. And say it now.
Yeah, say what's on your mind.
But let's
Say what's in your heart.
hear what Raheim is going to share. Take
All
notes.
right.
Yes.
Since you told us about the masks, I've also used masks on people like that, like putting pink or purple on myself so that I speak correctly and as well so that they can only speak with you physically.
If you have somebody that you're dealing with, someone that's very, very mean to you, gag them with a purple mask on them. Put a purple mask mentally on them. It'll do them good, because I'll tell you something, if they start to speak mean to you, it will gag them. Sometimes, haven't you ever felt like there's certain people you just don't want to have any of their mouth anymore? Yes.
Does darkness have its own special time too with the strongest?
I'm sorry.
The dark forces have their own special triad time?
Yes, they come on the 2 hours. They come on the second hours. They come on 2 and 4. Now you say, well, what about 6? No, they miss the third hours.
Oh.
They miss the third hours. Yes.
Is there a special time, I know within like the third hour, to reach someone that's important to you that I've lost?
Yes. You mean someone who is missing or dead?
Dead.
Dead. Then if you're doing that, then use the 12 o'clock time. And that's the best time, or unless you want to stay up till 3, that's even a better time, because the 3 o'clock hour is probably the best.
What do I say? I felt like I've had no success with that.
No, but yes, you have, because you had a scent and everything else that's come. And they also, isn't because you've got a woman and a man both around you. Yes, you do. And the woman clicks and the man uses a bell. So, and if you don't want to do that, then try the 6th hour. And then light a candle and say, show yourself, let me go into, not a trance state, but let me be very quiet, peaceful, and then show yourself. Now, when you do this, and they do, don't scream, because they can. And then they materialize right immediately, and then people get very frightened. Most of the time, the reason why we're kept from coming around is because we don't want to scare you. But since you're so strong in that, I'm sure that no one would scare you. No. Yes.
I've been attracted to Malachite. Does it have any healing properties?
Malachite has healing for the eyes. It's the same as emeralds were. Yes. Who are you trying to get a hold of, my dear? Your dad made a very strange loop. Let me tell you about this. Your dad said he had a problem with his lungs. He said he had a problem with his kidneys and his heart. He said that he, very much like Tony's mother, he said he left, came back, and then left again. He's come around you, not necessarily the 3rd hour, but he's come around you about 7 in the morning and about 8 at night. So he's always around. I mean, even during the day. Who is Joe and Tom?
Tom is my boss.
He's worried about Tom because he thinks he's taking advantage of you. There's also someone with him by the name of Mary.
My great grandma.
Mm-hmm. He says that she is with him. She's little. This woman is little. The message is he wants you to go on with your life. Your grief has been very extreme, but he says that's because you've always felt that there was more you should have said. Who doesn't feel that way? There's no one. Always that we're left in life with, I should have done. He wants you to write. He'd like for you to light a purple candle for him, as he says, a purple one. And Mary also sends her love, but she didn't know her that well anyway, so, and not at all, but she sends her love anyway, so. Now, there's messages. See, you got one. Now, yes.
Raheim, for driving a vehicle, we've always been taught you can bubble your vehicle.
Exactly.
Same thing, anything differently on that?
I now silver net it. I'd silver net the vehicle. I'd silver net your kids. I'd send them out the door with, and as well as yourself, with a golden sword of Asna, with the, because it makes a cross, with a crossbow here. Have the handle all the way up because it makes a crucifix, and have it come all the way down the sword, all the way down to the pelvic area, so that you're protecting all the front. I've always used the star too. I always like to walk around with this big star shield in front of me when I was in life. I really emanated this star that was, and also it was nice too because the star has points. And so people that came near me, I used to think that I could stick them on. And they'd go away.
No, I'm still in this lifetime scared of if it's dark and the spirit shows up, yes, I'm going to be jumping out of bed or it's going to startle me. So yeah, I have not overcome that. Yes, I've gone on hauntings but I haven't really witnessed anything directly myself. So, but something that's it's just a human thing. It's getting over that human thing that we've been, I don't know, pounded in. It's not normal. On a human level, spirit level, I understand. It's the human level, the human part of me that says, that's not normal. That's not supposed to be there. And it's like, so yeah, I have, I'm not sure I want to attend an acclamation seminar to have that undone. Because that would take a bit. Now, yes, I've been to several trances where Francine has attempted and Raheim have attempted to show themselves as best they can, and I don't see them. Then that's just me. That's just my I don't know what to say, capabilities, but and what I can and can't perceive. There are people that have witnessed that, and of course, we've heard on a occasion Mother Asna had shown up to the Sunday services as a elderly lady, is what I recall the story is, and
So cute.
I didn't, I don't. It's just me. That's how I don't see all that. Yes, I feel or sense things, but it's like everybody's different.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I don't get upset or startled personally by feeling the like spirits doing their thing in my house or my presence, and sometimes I'll feel somebody sit on my bed, and it might be a spirit of a dog I had in a past life or something. I don't. It's fine. Like it doesn't bother me at all. I know it really unsettles some people though, but yeah, for me it doesn't. It's never really bothered me. It only has ever bothered me if my mental health is not in like the absolute greatest place, because sometimes I just want to hunker in and just like not be bothered.
Don't bother me.
No, just leave me alone. Yeah, but I feel like that's human too. So yeah, it's interesting. Everyone's different. Let me take a look at the comments. Not seeing any comments on YouTube. Gibson says, sometimes these trances are so on point, like the message is just for you. Yeah, that's so true. Julie says, have you ever been struck with a star? Because Ryan was just joking about stars. No. I like to, there was a visualization he gave a long time ago of walking into a room and visualizing stars just kind of spinning around, like beautiful stars spinning around and just like cutting up negativity. And I used to use that used that one a lot in one of my previous work environments. But yeah, it's just, it's like, let this cut up the negativity and we'll just move forward.
Cool.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else?
Ramona shares, usually I know who is visiting me, so that's cool. That is really nice. That is really nice. I'll also say that sometimes if a grief is still too, like still a little bit too raw, then I'm not really in the space to be being as open to sensing visitations.
Right. That's normal.
That's also a thing.
Most humans are like that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I remember when a really close friend of mine from high school passed away, and I hadn't spoken to him in almost a decade. And I remember hearing that he passed away in an accident, and I was like, "Oh, congratulations, you crossed over!" And so I was just, I had felt him, and I was just chattering at him while I was driving in my car, and I was just chatter. I was like, check this out. Super proud of you, and I don't want you to, I was just chatting with him like he was my friend. There was no pain with that, but the soreness of somebody who was a lot closer in time of being suddenly removed from you, that does feel different. So
yeah.
Mm-hmm. Ramona says, I have to get me some ninja stars. Yeah. It's funny. Oh, funny. It's a true story. And then Gibson says, my aunt saw her mother reach out to touch her when she was in bed. Oh, wow. That's really sweet. Interesting. Very interesting. I'm trying to remember if I've seen anyone who's passed over. I did see my spirit guide once. And that was just breathtakingly wild. I was in high school. I was having a huge spiritual freak out, saying, I'm never going to talk about any of this spirituality stuff ever again unless you're giving everyone else some validation except for me. It's like a teenager moment.
Yeah.
And so I was out on a run, and it was through a wooded area, and on the left side is a straight shot of, like, the trail went along a fence. Like, there's no going up this very, very large fence, but you could see through the fence. So you can see it's wooded, but you can see in any direction very, very easily. I was the only person running, and so I was just having my huge tantrum, because that's what it was. I was having a tantrum, and I was running a straight shot, like, quarter mile straight along a fence. There's nowhere else that you can go.
Yeah.
And at the very end of this fence, there's a lake. And again, the trail runs around the lake, and there's nowhere else you can go. And so I stop right there, and I see the most beautiful sunset. I was like, well, that's just great, isn't it? Like, you're gonna like answer me by saying, like, here's your favorite color. Like, come on, man. And just right then I saw this woman, like, run behind me out of nowhere. And she was going the direction that I had just come from, which again is a straight shot by a quarter mile. Like, there's nowhere that someone can disappear to. And I was like, whoa, where did that person come from? And she looked just like, once I thought about it, she looked just like the images that I'd seen when I was a toddler and was astrally traveling, and my spirit guide would always come get me. She's like, it's time to wake up. And she's always very, had a very, like, Arabic appearance, beautiful black hair, and very fashionable. She's always so fashionable. I'm super jealous. To this day, I'm extremely jealous. Every time I dream of her, she's always so fashionable. It's just like, I totally don't have that ability. And so anyway, I was really startled. I looked over my shoulder right at her, and then I was just like, whatever. And I just sighed, and I was just gonna go back, like, run home. And so I turned back to the lake side, and I turn and I look, and that woman had disappeared in thin air. There was no one, quarter mile this way, quarter mile that way. There was nowhere she could have gone. And so I was like, all right, I was humble after that. I was like, no more tantrums. No, no more tantrums. No, I'm done.
Yeah.
I was like, that must have taken a lot of effort on y'all's part, so I'm not going to tantrum ever again. I'm good.
Yeah, those the each of us gets our what we need and wake up calls and things that trigger our mind that fit us.
Yeah, that's true.
Fun stuff.
Fun stuff. Some comments sharing fun stuff. Thomas shares, I heard a doorbell ring once and nobody was there when I checked.
Yeah.
Interesting. Jorge says, I saw my spirit guide and my angels in my old house next to the fridge in broad daylight. That same year, Asna revealed herself to me. She was gorgeous and beautiful. That is breathtaking. That is so neat.
Yeah, Absolutely. We're all envious.
Yeah. And then Aaron shares, when you see a spirit, you only have so much time to see them. Sometimes, yeah, it's true. It's like a second or two, if that. Yeah, sometimes it's split second, a lot of people say, because your mind sometimes like takes over. So anyway, and yeah, all right. Thank you so much, everyone, for your awesome comments. It's always exciting to talk about these things.
All right. What is our next segment about?
Next segment, Raheim is going to conclude. Since we already have silly rituals, why not try to use more positive habits on purpose? Fair point. Using the Gatekeeper for helping other people to cross over and little babies to be born. And then he's going to talk about manic depression and bipolar disorder, and that actually needs real help or the brain burns itself out. So that's going to be interesting to hear about. All right.
Cool. All right.
Cool.
Here we go.
Any other questions? Yes.
First of all, thank you very much for these past months for helping my brother and Carla and I. And earlier, you talked about the cancer cells wearing a sheet like this white coating, and then the protected Trinity hours, and sitting here listening to you and trying to absorb. Is the negativity that comes around like this stupefying sheet? Because I know sometimes I get overwhelmed with suffocation when it comes around, and then
negativity is suffocating, though, my dear. It also creates blind anxiety. See, so many of you are having anxiety attacks, depressions, and you think it's because you're mentally ill. No, it's because you're being attacked by the darkness.
And tremendous discouragement. My brother.
Depression, despair.
So you were talking about these Trinity hours, and it reminded me of like these time release things.
Yes.
Descriptive.
Yes, that's right. Yes, like a Tylenol time release sinus capsule.
We're doing our own time release.
Spiritual time release, yes. But you're giving it a large punch at those particular hours. And don't forget them, because even if you just get bored with it and you do it for a few days and then lay off a day, I guarantee you the third day you're not going to feel near as good as you did for the 2 days that you did it. So try it. You do so many other stupid, insidious, dumb things that don't mean anything. And it's about time that you could use a few little seconds to insulate yourself, because think of all the time that you're just dummied up, not thinking about anything. During that period, then call on the Gatekeeper, and we'll talk about that more at great lengths because we didn't get into that. But the Gatekeeper is someone that you keep inside of yourself that is a watchdog of your body. And you could make it male. In fact, you should make it male, that stands at the head of this table and makes sure that you're all right. And the Gatekeeper lets no one in that is of bad or means harm to you in any way. So you could actually have asked for God's Gatekeeper to come and stand inside of yourself. If you have an illness that you're fighting now, then get that Gatekeeper to work on it. If you have a bad back, then have the Gatekeeper go and put some extra cement or fix it. some healing balm, as they call it. If you're getting a flu, then have the gatekeeper run over to your lymphatic system and pump it up so that you're fine. And another thing, if someone is getting ready to go, have the gatekeeper help them over, help them make the transition, the graduation, the coming to my side, so that we can help them, because we're finding more and more people are having a harder time dying. And the reason for that is because they're so earthbound. They've been in such a terrible survival period that when they're finally meant to let go, they can't let go. They become almost like they're geared in, programmed to stay and stay and stay and stay. And they kind of can't unlatch, because you see people holding on to life with bloody fingernails. They hold on so hard, instead of letting go and just letting it slip away and come home again. It's like they want to get the last drop out of what? The persimmon. Yes.
So there's more dark coming in right now than light, and this will continue until 2020.
Yes.
So we got our hands full.
Got your hands full. Not to be negative, but you have your hands full. But I'd rather you have your hands full and know what you have your hands full of than to walk around smelling your hands and not knowing what it is. Stepping in it, not knowing what it is. Yes.
Just to, the gatekeeper, if we want to help someone go, so we just say, gatekeeper, come and help this person.
Yes, or their gatekeeper.
Their gatekeeper. So everybody has?
Everyone has a gatekeeper. And the gatekeeper can cut the cord. Even when you're trying to help a baby being born, you can ask for that gatekeeper to push to push one way while you're pulling the other. Yes.
My mom is a manic depressant who is not even gotten anything to help herself. Now, is that a bunch of evil forces coming? I mean, what?
No, that's her own biochemistry.
So there's no
lithium, but she won't do it. But you know that she's going to eventually destroy herself if she doesn't, because manic depressive is what we call terminally ill. It's mentally terminally ill. What happens is, not to make you feel bad, but the brain burns itself up.
I see that.
Yes. And sometimes in God's time, all you can do is put a light around her yourself and ask for God's will to be done and go on with your life. You can't save people from what they will do.
You don't see her again. She's not going to do that.
She won't. She wants to die, you know that. She wants to go.
Is it going to be a long time? It's my mom. It's going to be a long time from now before she goes?
Yeah. But see, I'm not too sure she's not almost a symbol to help all of you suffer. And learn. Yes, because those people are, you see, almost, they're pivots. So they're not bad, but sometimes people pick those awful lives that come in to be irritants, manic depressives, whatever they might be, so that we all learn.
Try to explain it to everyone. She's here to teach us.
Exactly. Patience, tolerance, and all those things that are so miserable sometimes to learn.
How about my dad? Is she going to help him?
No.
Go over? Yes.
No. She doesn't help anybody. Yes.
Raheim, I'm involved in a program on racism and bigotry, the healing of, and I'm finding that a lot of people don't want to be healed.
No, they don't.
Or be helped. Is there any...
And they don't want to be unbigoted. They don't want to be unprejudiced. They come in with the words of being non-prejudiced, but yes, they are prejudiced anyway. So you can, because you're a very white, beautiful entity, you do the best you can and then you let the rest drop. Otherwise, you're going to drive yourself crazy. But those that are white will eventually come to you if you have patience to wait. God bless you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Interesting conclusion. Go. You're excited. Tell
Wow.
me.
Oh, okay, so I want to amplify what he just said regarding bigotry and like dealing with people who are bigotry and like who are bigoted, and you're trying to help them get out of that mindset, because we're always asking ourselves like, where do? And Raheim just offered some really, really nice thoughts on that. So I want to amplify what he just said. So he said that you as a, like everyone listening, like you as a good person, as a light entity, you do the best that you can. And if you still have patience, you can wait for the ones who are also white entities to come to you. So not everyone who is bigoted is dark, but a lot of people who are bigoted are dark. So that's so that's like allowing yourself to give yourself permission of like how much energy are you going to spend on this, because he also said like if you are just like trying to beat it into people, saying like stop being bigots, stop being like transphobic, stop being like gay phobic, stop being racist, like stop all these things,
stop liking butter on toast,
right? If you keep trying to do that and another person is just not, they're just not in a space yet to change, then you're going to drive yourself crazy.
Right. You can't change somebody. Yeah. They have to want to change.
Yes. And we can engage people in change talk. You can, and there's a whole thing if you want to, if you're curious about this, it's called motivational interviewing. It's like, what are the steps that lead to someone making changes in their life? There is change talk. It's like, well, what are you getting out of this current situation? And sometimes when you talk to people, it's like, what are you getting out of this? It's like, well, I'm lonely, or I'm like, this is the only way that I connect to people. It's like, oh, so I wonder what curiosity would be like, to be like, what if I had better people in my life instead of just hanging out with other bigots? Like, like if that's your identities, like sometimes that's people's identity. They're in this like community because they feel like that's the only way that they can get community, friendship, right?
Yeah.
So there's all sorts of things that people can do, like towards promoting change thoughts and change talk and that sort of thing. But I love what Raheim said there. Like, don't drive, like, do what you can and don't drive yourself crazy. And then the people who are white entities, they, allow them to come to you. And if you notice them coming towards you, then if you still have patience at that point, sometimes you do not, and that's okay. Then you can choose to help them towards being more open-minded.
There's been several gentlemen that have been interviewed that on both sides of, one was a black gentleman, and I think there was a white gentleman, but the prominent one I think was a black gentleman who would go and interview and question people that are promoting bigotry and racism, and have a conversation with them. So it's been an interesting. I don't know how he chooses who he chooses, but it's an interesting. What's the right word? Documentary. Thank you. On this particular gentleman who goes and just starts asking questions and ends up showing these people, the ones that he works with and talks with, that hey, this is not helpful as a society, but and adjust them, gets them to see it different. So it's a fun.
It's cool.
Fun's not a right word. It's not.
Right.
It's I'm not sure the right word, but it's very interesting and very appreciative of what he's doing and courageous.
It is courageous. He's using his privilege for good. Like that he's male, and I assume he's white. Or
no. The one there's I've seen two. One of them is a white gentleman, but the one that I've seen more of and I'm not sure who does more work, but it's the black gentleman that is in a unique situation to go and approach white racist people.
That is brave. That is brave. I always appreciate people who I appreciate people who have the patience for doing that. I also appreciate people who maybe are very well off and have a good solid station in life. And so, society calls that privilege, It's like, and like instead of like getting all upset about it, just like, oh well, I'm using my good station in life to try to help other people, and that's good. That's always a good thing. It's like it's just an extra dharma, an extra responsibility, and that's nice. There's nothing wrong with that. Very cool. Then another thought that I had that I wanted to comment on. So Raheim was talking about manic depression. And so in the 90s, manic depression, it's now called bipolar disorder. So what he said there, I thought was interesting because it immediately made me think of some things that psychiatry knows about bipolar disorder, manic depression. So Raheim said like they consider it a terminal mental illness where the brain, it sounds like the brain just burns itself out is the words that he used. So that's really interesting because the terminology that psychiatry uses for talking about uncontrolled bipolar disorder is something called the kindling effect, which is literally burning, like you putting more woods on the fire. So if someone is not taking any help, and the idea is that what they think happens with bipolar disorder is that every mood episode leads to a heightened risk of further mood episodes that happen quicker and more intense and more frequent. And so they call it the kindling effect. And so basically, like if someone has had like a couple of mood episodes, a couple of major depressions, maybe one like week of being like really, really, really like foot on the gas pedal, manic or hypomanic. It's when someone is moving super, super fast through life. Then if you've had like 3, then we want to get, they're like, okay, there is no other ifs, ands, or buts. You don't necessarily heal from this. It's a chemical thing and you need to be on lithium.
It's a pendulum that doesn't settle down. It
doesn't settle down.
To accelerate.
Yes, accelerate faster and faster and faster. And that's the kindling effect. That and so that's like one of the few things that we ever tell people of saying like, oh, you've got bipolar disorder. There isn't a cure. You have to stay on medication. Like this is not negotiable. So it's one of the very, very few conversations where I ever like tell people like, no, you have to stay on this medication. Like talk to any doctor. I am not a doctor. I am here to like promote psychoeducation in my role as a licensed therapist. But so I thought that was really interesting that the terminology that Raheim used was like the brain burns itself out. I was like, well, that's exactly what psychiatry uses by calling it the kindling effect of like just this fire that just keeps getting worse and worse and worse and worse every time someone has a mood swing. So he said the medication that he name dropped there was lithium as being helpful, and that's the gold standard currently. I just had a conversation with my psychiatrist about it, about lithium being the gold standard still, and so. Just so if anyone, has someone in their life that, that has that condition, it's just something to keep in mind, that it is.
And talk to your,
bring them to the doctor, make sure,
Yep.
listen to the doctor. This is one, it's like diabetes. Like you take your medicine.
That's, point comes to mind. During in-person services, we have people with different mental states, coming to the church. They've seen Sylvia. Something draws them to us, and it's in the past. Occasionally, a minister would say to them, "Oh, well, listen to your guide. Listen to Mother God. They're talking to you." I'm like, hello, they've got voices telling them things that aren't appropriate. So that's not a helpful way to, talk to people that are hearing voices telling them things. I've spoken with a person on several occasions, and it'd be like, oh, Mother God's telling me that I'm naughty, I'm not a good thing, or I got to do this. And I'm like, oh, that's not good. We shouldn't be introducing these things to those people, because it just, I think, clouds it up. What can we do? Well, one, yes, go see a doctor, help them see a doctor. They are sometimes resistant of it, but, we can ask for positive energy and all the tools, helping the gatekeeper and asking for those things for them as you would for someone else that's ill.
and bringing out Sylvia's words of God created doctors too, and
Yeah.
all the times that Francine and Raheim have said, go to the doctor and don't throw out your diabetes medication. Like, don't do those things. So it's like there's all sorts of quotes to support that as well. And I think that, you know, having any doctor, including a psychiatrist, who's someone that is trustworthy, is just absolutely a godsend. Absolutely a godsend. So yeah.
Any last comments before we get on to we get to hear Francine?
Let's see here. So the ordination for all of the ministers in training is going to be this Sunday. If you want an invite, I do believe we can do invites. Just send me an email, kat@novus.org, KAT@novus.org, and I'll see if I can. I'll talk to Ellen and see what she'd like to do. And so if you're interested, send me an email, and I'll try to do some investigating. Miss LJ says, I have found, taught by my mom, that interacting with dark or gray entities in silence without saying a word and letting them expel their energy while reinforcing of angels come to protect you. I'm not sure if I missed a word in there. If you want to clarify, I would love to. I'm not entirely sure what's going on with that.
And while you're speaking of that, again, I like to reiterate, when we talk about dark entities and the white entities, we're talking about the soul color, not the skin color.
Yes, absolutely. Francine once called the emergence of fair skin on our planet as being a mutation.
Yeah.
Everywhere else in the galaxy, everyone has dark skin. Everyone has dark skin.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah. I'm checking Facebook comments. Julie shares, my oldest child is bipolar and got off medications and turned to drugs, unfortunately. And he shot himself in the head and survived it. He's now has to stay on meds and takes care of himself. We believe God wanted him here. I send him heartfelt prayers.
And you.
And you, mother, your whole family. Yes, my goodness gracious. Thank you so much for sharing that. Gibson says, I wonder if they have considered a patch or something under the skin like they use for birth control. I know that Sylvia in her prophecy book did talk about a chip that would be used for helping people with very, very bad schizophrenia, that would help the brain start to re-regulate itself and kind of go into like a low power mode if there was a super, super bad storm coming on. So I don't know if we'll have to see if they end up finding something that can work also with like super bad bipolar disorder. Super bad bipolar disorder can just be a nightmare, absolute nightmare. So yeah, we'll just have to see. But I do know that there are some companies out there in the world that are looking into seeing if there's a way to help people with those really bad, those really bad disorders. Yeah. All right. Thank you, everyone, for your fantastic comments. Thomas says, "Lol, I'm a mutant." People with fair skin. Oh man, it's funny.
What's your power?
What's your power? It's funny. All right, so last segment, maybe?
Sure.
All right, let's do it. Francine is starting a new talk about cell memory and how time works, and Einstein's theory of relativity, Einstein, in a talk on the other side, clarifying that time actually is circular. Black holes are cones that are hidden from time. Try to view yourself as also hidden from time. Boredom makes you sick, and don't be late.
Yeah.
Please and thank you.
All right, here we go.
All right, here we go.
It's nice to be here. We have done an awful lot of research on cell memory, of which Roger and John are now giving a class on. Doing a mighty fine job also, I will say. I really want to address the time element. I know they've addressed it, but I know they don't mind me saying this, there are a few holes in the representation of time, and I'm not too sure through all of our lifetimes we will ever understand the time on your side. When you get to my side, you will understand time perfectly. And the reason you will understand it is because it's a non sequitur. It means nothing. It would be no different than if I said, as Sylvia's favorite line is, so do you care what a wangdoodle is? No, you don't. That's just about as significant as time is. And so, as Larry so nicely put it before I came in, I had to train a long time. Not to answer your question, strangely enough, not to get a hold of your guide, strangely enough, but to try to understand what time was to you. When I lived a life from 1500 to 1519, I suppose I was aware of time, but in that time period, we weren't so bogged down with time. We lived a village life. We got up when the sun came up, and we went to bed when the sun went down. So there was no such a thing as lunch and dinner and all of those things that modern society has put upon you. If you notice, the more commercial your life becomes, the more time speeds up. This is a fact. There is also a very, very definite now test going on in your world that really is testing Einstein's theory of relativity. When the Apollo went up, when the men came down, they had gotten younger by your standards by milliseconds. If you are to put a time mechanism on a plane and put one on the ground, you will find that the plane, when it lands, if it's going fairly quick, different than what Einstein says is 335 million miles an hour, is that you will also be stopped in time, or you will not age by milliseconds. Now take this to the ultimate. In deductive reasoning, if this is the case, if something could be on the ground and something could go faster, and by going faster you get younger, you definitely can go to future. Now, Einstein said, and he's certainly gone back on that, because why I'm talking to you about this, I heard his lecture the other night. He said if you go forward in time, you can't get back. He has now revised that. Because time, as I've told you, and now they're coming to this, and we all had to laugh, is that time is circular. And time being circular is without end, of course, but it also can come back to the same point. And it's very much like Sylvia has said many years ago, it's nothing different than putting a needle on a record and moving the needle from one groove to another. The only time that you will ever hear of why a black hole exists is here. We have studied the black hole, and why I'm going into such a dissertation on this or a talk on this is I want you to get yourself eventually, as I explain it to you, into a period of being like a black hole. A black hole is a cone that has disappeared so that time cannot find it. And that literally is a fact. It has enveloped, it is hidden from time. And it's created a vacuum. No more than if you took a piece of, say you have a round disc, and you took a piece out of it, and now you paste the two sides together. What will you have? A cone. And the cone is a black hole. If you drop out of time, you will find that you not only, of course you will die, but you will find that you will cure your illnesses. You will stop fretting over all the minuscule things or large things that you deal with. But I want you to think of yourself in a place that is hidden from time. Does that mean you do not eat breakfast, lunch, or dinner? No. What I would advise you to do is keep a certain sync in your mind. Now, most of you work during the day, so there's a definite lunch hour. But try to make it so that you're not so much scheduled. Make yourself go to bed a half an hour earlier or an hour later. Even if you have to get up a certain time in the morning, then make it 15 minutes later or earlier or whatever, just so you break the sync of time. The one thing that time does to you is wear you down, makes you age, and boredom makes you sick. So if you can be not bound by time, then you're going to find that you begin to feel much easier. You see, one thing is important is stress is caused by time elements, your deadlines. If you do not have it matter, you're going to find out that you get done faster. Do you remember at school when some of you had certain term papers and things to do, and you waited till the last minute? It seemed like there never was enough time, was there? But if you were to have been more comfortable and less tense, trust me, you would get there. It's no different than the man who's late for an appointment who speeds through the city and has an accident. This is very much what your bodies are doing all the time. And when you say to yourself time and time again, and I don't like people that are late. I'm much easier about it than Sylvia. If you ever want to make Sylvia an enemy, keep being late to something. It makes her absolutely insane. She's always said that lateness is a form of character defect. So watch when you, and I don't have that kind of response to it. I don't like people necessarily to be late. But even on my side, when we're supposed to be at a lecture, it's easier because when we all get there, the lecture begins. If we don't all get there, the lecture does not begin. But then we're not bound by having to cook dinner, watch children, get up and go to work. So the time is easier. Notice too, when you're on vacation even, how different time can be. Or being in a place in which there is no clocks, like the place where I can't stand, not because I have any moral, Las Vegas, I can't, the noise from that place makes me nervous. And we don't usually have nerves on my side, but there's not a lot of guys that want to stand around the clanking noises.
You're
Here we go.
There you go. Which is understandable for them. It sounds like, you know, they're not wanting to hang around. And I just realized I've heard another famous phrase, and I can't remember if I've written that on our list of lateness is a character defect.
Yeah.
That's a Sylvia quote.
Here's a Sylvia quote. And a little visitor, Java, came up.
Hey, how's it going?
Doesn't look very pleased, so I'm going to leave him. All right, bye, buddy.
Well, someone was there earlier, it
Some-
looked like.
Yeah. I don't know where Floofy is. I think he's might be hanging out on the patio.
Well, at least he came by to say hi.
Yeah.
Any, you got 2 bits? Well, we got a moment, or anybody got comments?
Yeah, I love this idea because they've talked to us in the past about projecting ourselves backwards to a time where we had excellent health, and so I'm really curious to see how this talk is going to keep playing out, because in this one she's saying, like, just take yourself out of, like, take the concept of yourself out of time, like, regardless. And I feel like that has been something that I've been trying to do, is like, I just don't want to be part of this whole time thing. I want to age gracefully at my own speed and not by anyone's projection onto me. So I feel like there's a lot of deprogramming there.
And I've had challenges understanding Francine explaining to us why we can't see them, and that, you know, the dimension that they're in. She explained it as they're speeding up, they're sped up, they're going fast, they're at a higher vibration. You know, they're not physically moving, they're at a higher vibration than we are.
That makes sense.
And Larry and I think Francine had agreed that it's similar to, as we look at an airplane with a propeller on it. The faster it goes, the less visible it is to us. That's the analogy, and that's they're sped up in a frequency sense or a vibratory sense, the way I understand it. And the phenomena of somebody physically speeding up changes their time. There's more and more talk about it. I mean, this is from when 1996.
Yeah.
Yes, there were fun studies done, and there are current, and I don't want to say current, but there are recent studies done similar to that effect, that the faster you go towards the speed of light, your relative time changes relative to us here on this planet.
That's fascinating.
And I think it's astrophysics. They talk about time, and there's more. Anyway, that's a whole different genre and discussion. And I recommend as a starting point, go listen to Neil deGrasse Tyson, and how he describes, and because he brings on people that and talks about this whole concept, and explains it in scientific terms, because it's a mathematical phenomenon. You can calculate it with math, all of these activities, and one of which is the concept of time and time travel, and what's gravity affects time around planets. So anyway, it coordinates, it corroborates, I think, what Francine was talking about. They're vibrating faster, so it puts them in a different space, different dimension. They don't age like we do, and for them, our time here incarnated on this planet is like several months kind of thing, in their perspective.
Yeah, 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Wild. In your recollection, have you ever heard, I've got a question here from Lisa, have you ever heard them talk about, if there isn't time on the other side, how do they schedule events?
Well, if you missed the lecture, you can wait till it comes back around again.
It comes back around, it's circular. I've heard them say that.
We've heard that. Yes. See, that blows our concept mind, because we think of past and future, past and future, and so that's what they're trying to get us to unstuck ourselves from, that linear thinking. Our clocks have created that. She was talking this evening about how there was no concept of time other than the days past, You didn't have to be at a certain place at a certain time. And so it seemed timeless, endless, even though, people are born and they die. So it's less time boundness than we are now. Sorry, did I answer a question? It was about,
so. How do they schedule events?
on the other side.
Yeah. I know they have festivals that coincide with our calendar of like the solstices. I'm not sure.
For our planet, yeah.
Yeah.
I wouldn't think that Nuvo would really care about our about our celebrations here. How do they schedule? Well, there could be a bulletin board, an electronic bulletin board, because yes, they do have electronics.
They do have a board over there now.
It's like everybody knows everyone and can communicate easily through thought. So it's not like you could have a daily bulletin that goes out and people talk about it.
I'm recalling Raheim, someone asked him, what does a day look like for you guys? And he talked in detail about what a day looks like. He said that there is kind of a rhythm that does happen. So I don't know what scheduling looks like, but they do have a rhythm. Like there's a moment on the other side where everyone goes into their own personal chapel to just spend time communing with Father God. I forget some of the other details, but they do have a rhythm, even if there isn't a sense of time. I remember in my near-death experience, I could not. It was like seconds were just beyond my fingertips. I was like, I cannot tell how long I've been sitting here. It could be 20 minutes, could have been 2 hours. I have no idea. I had no concept of it. It was just a wonderful feeling. I was like, wow, so much stress is related to having a concept of being able to track time. It just wasn't over there.
It's one reason people like the what do you call it? The there's a word for it. Sensory deprivation.
Deprivation. Yeah.
What is it? Therapy. That's the word I was thinking of. Where you're floating on the water in a dark space that you lose sense of physical and mental time basically, because you don't know what's going on, and some people like that kind of meditation.
There's a physicist, famous physicist, Richard Feynman, who tried out. Someone talked him into getting into one of those sensory deprivation tanks, and his comment in the comment book afterwards was, "Thanks for the hallucinations." It's funny. Another question. Gibson says, "Will that change when you die or add time to your life?" I don't
change.
know. Will like removing yourself from time or like having a different sense of time change when you die?
Yeah. Because we're here in a physical form. This is my concept of, yes, we're in a physical form. We can get time bound. It's the stimulus from outside of us. We can feel time bound. When we're on the other side, that's the real reality, and there is no time there. Just as it boggles our mind to think about, you missed the concert, you missed the lecture, it'll come back around again, and you can go attend it. Mm-hmm. That's what time is like over there. Are they doing it a second time? To my understanding, no, it's not a second time. You're going to watch it again.
Yeah, fascinating.
So, yes, when our spirit leaves the physical body, you will shift into what's going on the other side. Mm-hmm. A fun. I mean, what comes to mind is the movie Always with Richard Dreyfuss. He was the firefighter airplane pilot, and the plane went boom, and all of a sudden he's now in this field, short grassy field, and nothing around him. I'm like, oh, this is interesting. He hadn't quite got the concept of what has happened to him. He's not confused. He's just relaxing like most people would in a nice meditation. And then this elderly lady comes up and all of a sudden, next thing he's sitting in a barber's chair and he's getting a haircut by this lady and she's talking to him. That's and there's no time. There's no nothing has passed. That's to me that's kind of a helpful way of showing orientation.
I need to see that movie. I'll have to look for this.
Yeah.
Very cool though. A couple other questions. Aaron asks, can you actually go into the physical future if you are fast enough then? Our answer is been told yes, because I remember when they were talking a long time ago about wormholes between planetary systems that are on very, very, very far away sides. A wormhole can take 4 hours of like I have a watch and the watch says 4 hours have passed to go from Earth to Andromeda. 4 hours have passed. They say like depending on which way you go through, it will take years off of you or put you right back where you started. So, because you're going so fast. So they said like going in one direction, you show up looking a lot younger, and then going the other direction, you show up like back where you started.
The other was when you were saying that. There was another point. Neil deGrasse Tyson was giving another analogy of something like that, and it just went. But I'll see if it pops up again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I hope so.
What was the question again?
The question was, if you were going fast enough, can you physically arrive in the future?
Yes, to our understanding.
To our
I was
understanding.
trying to see if that was going to trigger but it hasn't triggered my recall yet.
Yeah. Oh man, that's fun. Let's see here. I've got someone says I have a character flaw. It's okay. I go through it too. Dang. Do my best. We all do our best. See here. Someone asks, what is Asna's mantle of the mystical traveler? It is an actual cloak, and it has a starburst pattern, we're told, on the cloak. I had a dream one time where I felt like I was walking into a hornet's nest of negativity, and in my dream, I said, I'm summoning my mystical traveler's cloak. And it's a cloak, it's mantled. So I like put it on and I took the hood down and I felt nice and invisible, and then I snuck on through in my dream. And that's how I visualize it, as being like a protective shield, but it has a starburst pattern, we're told, on it. So yeah, it's an actual thing. It's an actual thing. So Aaron, yeah, yes.
I remember the point.
Yes.
The about time travel. So if you, the thing you got to watch out for is, and it was, anyway, I thought it was an interesting point. If you do time travel and say, okay, you zip off and then you want to come back, you have to remember where you got to come back to.
Oh.
Because if you come back in time to the same spot, and the planet will have moved.
Oh.
So you have to coordinate where is that next spot that you started from on the planet. The planet has moved. So if you came back to the same place in time and space,
Earth's over there.
You might be in the middle of nowhere, in the middle of space, because the planet moved.
Wild. That is so wild. That gives me a new appreciation for those wormholes that they built, because the wormholes have to like be anchored to the Earth to like. Oh, but that also makes sense too, because they said that they only work at certain times of the year. Oh, so maybe they are like anchored in space, and they just wait for like Earth to get close enough to use them. Maybe.
Ooh, interesting point. Okay. Although then more and more clues for us.
More and more clues. Interesting stuff, man. Let's see here. Looking. There's one other question. So is that why on the other side is going faster? So that's why they can see into the future? maybe, because we do know that they can.
Well, my understanding, that's an interesting point. I don't know that they're viewing the future, they're viewing our chart.
Yes, but Francine said they can see us right before we have an accident, though.
Yeah.
They can see like a little bit of like blur into the future.
Gotcha.
Okay. I don't understand how that works.
All right. Well,
so
then that may I didn't recall that, so that may validate the question or answer the question.
I don't know.
They were asking.
We need to get Raheim in here. Raheim, we've got questions. We've got a list of questions we need you to help us out with. All right. Thank you everyone so much for your amazing questions, amazing comments, thoughts, and shares. It's always such a pleasure. Feels like it might be time for relaxation and meditation. What do you think? Fabulous.
All right. I can prepare for that. For those of you that want to participate, now's the time we ask you to sit with your feet flat on the floor and your palms up and on your lap, or if you like me, I will like lay out flat sometimes, but I don't have a recliner chair at this moment. But for those of you that need to pay attention to what you're doing, don't pay attention to us, but by all means listen to the wonderful meditations in the on-demand when it's appropriate. And for everyone else that wants to participate, let's enjoy some rejuvenation.
Find a comfortable place to sit with your feet flat on the floor, or a comfortable place to lay if you need to. And rest your hands palms upward on your lap. Now, to start relaxing the mind, the body, and the spirit, take 3 deep breaths while letting go of any cares from the day.
Window to the other side. Close your eyes and breathe deeply. I want you to feel the golden light around you. Around that is a glistening silver egg. It is almost iridescent opal, with prisms of light, and you are cocooned inside, sitting in the lotus position. As you sit there, this prism of light begins to change colors, turning gold, green, blue, and several shades of purple. The purple now seems to bathe you in the light of spirituality. Feel it move through every cell of your body. From your lotus position, you now lift up your face. The purple and gold lights bathe through, and you stand and you stretch. Your arms extend freely out to their fullest length. Suddenly, the visions of Asna and Am, our mother and father, appear on either side of you, blessing and loving you in front of you. A hole forms in the iridescent egg and becomes a window. Through the window, you see the green grass and the hills of home. You see the other side's sweeping meadows and beautiful rose-colored light. At that moment, all the loved ones who have crossed past before come toward the window, reaching out to you. You cannot yet reach them, but you can put your hand through the window and touch the ones from whom you have been separated. You see their faces, you feel their love, which they are sending to you. See how much they care. They are waiting for you because you will always be together. By this reality, they give you grace. That picture dissolves, and in its place, the beautiful opalescent egg surrounds and protects you. I want you to walk around with that egg for this coming week. You will not ignore that which you don't want to see, but for a while you will keep yourself sequestered to heal. Then you can break down the sides. Keep it close so that for a week your soul is allowed to expand in this cocoon. You are still loving and giving, but no one may hurt you or spoil your ideals or the reality that is you. Feel a healing quiet and never feel alone.
Now, on the count of 3, come all the way back with that wonderful feeling. 1, 2, 3. Fully alert, fully awake.
Yay!
Yeah.
Oh,
Nice rejuvenation, and we're picture ourselves in our golden egg. I was reaching out the window, and it was like, okay, what's this window supposed to look like? So I'm visualizing this porthole like the side of a ship, like you think of the side of a ship, and I'm reaching out, and I was petting some old pets. And a few of them I didn't recognize. So I'm not sure. I don't recall from what time. I'm like, oh, well, that's interesting. You're cute and look loving. So giving them reaching out and giving them a pet.
Mm-hmm. I was feeling hands of loved ones from past lives and other side and whatnot. And I was just like, I don't remember you, but I love you anyway. Thank you for being around.
Yeah. Nice. So want to continue on with our. Where are we doing? We're closing. We're like packing up here. So if you have any questions about what we shared, feel free to post in chat or email us questions, and that's kat@novus.org or tom@novus.org. If you're looking for that invitation, Kat suggested you email her. She's going to see what she can do the best she can to help organize invitations for those listening. And of course, we appreciate listeners, both live and on demand. Show your appreciation for New Spirit Radio by sharing, promoting, liking, subscribing, checking out our websites. Let's see. Yep. And look for us on Facebook and YouTube. What else? Study groups. If you want to donate and get something in return, start a study group. You'll learn more about our philosophy, and you get a bonus CD and newsletter that comes along with that. Let's see. We've talked about that. However, Sunday services, yes, in a week or two, I think we're supposed to be, is another new month. There'll be another Sunday service posted on Facebook and YouTube. And we have a special Zoom service this Sunday, so coming up, and a special event. The Reverend Ellen Schloss is incorporating the minister ordination in the Sunday service. So
that's exciting!
Full. Yeah,
that's exciting. Sweet.
And now, for those of you that want to participate, share, it's the time for the Novena. And how that works for new people, we're going to visualize all of us together in a big room. We're all holding hands together. And we're going to say a phrase together 3 times. And that phrase is, I am God. I am part of God. I am God. All things are possible because I am God. And the voice cracking isn't absolute. So let's visualize all of us together, and let's get ready here, and we'll go. All right? I am God. I am part of God. I am God. All things are possible because I am God. I am God. I am part of God. I am God. All things are possible because I am God. I am God. I am part of God. I am God. All things are possible because I am God. Now, ask for things for yourself. Okay. The second one. I am God. I am part of God. I am God. All things are possible because I am God. I am God. I am part of God. I am God. All things are possible because I am God. I am God. I am part of God. I am God. All things are possible because I am God. Now, ask for things for others. Okay, and the last one. I am God. I am part of God. I am God. All things are possible because I am God. I am God. I am part of God. I am God. All things are possible because I am God. I am God. I am part of God. I am God. All things are possible because I am God. Now, picture our light going out like a beacon for others seeking this spiritual knowledge. And at this time, while we are recuperating and rejuvenating, recuperating from rejuvenating, that's a good one. Find something to be appreciative of. What are you appreciative for the last week? That's going to help, set your mindset for the next week of, in the form of a gratitude and appreciation. Keeps you in the mindset of the glass is half full.
Yes.
And of course, show your appreciation to Francine and Raheim for researching all this wonderful knowledge. And of course, Sylvia for coming to this insane asylum of the universe to start this movement and for showing us how to get some peace of mind and grace while we're here.
Thank God.
And of course, Asna for helping and protecting us. And Father God for providing the most prestigious school for us to experience, learn, and satisfy our unique spark of curiosity. Appreciate Bob Ingold for helping with some of the graphics and audio. And thank you, Sammy and Javon, for the wonderful outro music. For the show, writing, setup, hosting is MIT Catherine Taylor. Editing, technical direction, and hosting is Reverend Tom Bigley. And now we'll conclude with a prayer by Sylvia. Wherever I... Oh, here we go. Let's do this. All right, this will be nice.
Prayer for release of pain. Dear Mother and Father God, hold me in your hands. Stroke away all the pain that resides in my body. Increase my intellect to override the ravages of this life. Send your angels to comfort me. I ask that the archetypes encase my pain and alleviate all suffering. I also ask for and expect not only a healing, but a miracle, dear Mother. That as Queen of the Universe, attend to me now and give me peace of mind, body, and soul. I expect the peace to come now. I am of sound body, mind, and soul. Amen.
And Kat's going to tell us.
Keep using your Gatekeeper and name your council. Good night. We love you.
For so long we have ignored you as if you were not there. All praise went to the Father. We were so unaware that through the years you've shed your tears for all the pain we bear. Oh, Asna, how we love you. Place no one above you. Always thinking of you. Bless your name. You are Mother God. You've planted every blade of grass, creator of the stars. And when I'm feeling down and out, you mend my broken heart. So now I sing this song of thanks because of who you are. Oh, Asna, how we love you. Place no one above you. Always thinking of you. Bless your name. You are Mother God. You're more than a friend to me. You give me everything I need. In your peace you hold me tight. You are the bringer of the light. With no fear we boldly stand. Because you hold this world in your hands. You are the truth. You are the hope and love we never knew. Oh, Asna, how we love you. Place no one above you. Always thinking of you. Bless your name. You are Mother God. Mother